Chapter 3002. Trapped Old Manon Dragon King. This chessboard is a treasure. It contains great power. While Wang Xian was reading the book, Tianjun picked up the divination chessboard and examined it. His face was filled with astonishment. On the other hand, Orochi and Enlai were curiously sizing up the old man who was sitting cross-legged. They touched the old man's body. "Give me this book. It's about universal treasures." Wang Xian passed the book to Tianjun and took the divination chessboard. The divination chessboard could only be used by sorcerers. It was one of the more powerful acquired spiritual treasures. Moreover, the reason why the divination chessboard could be compared to acquired spiritual treasures was because of a crucial point. The divination chessboard wasn't an acquired spiritual treasure that could be used by a single person. It required at least 9 people. These 9 people released 9 different elemental arrays to attack. The 9 different elemental arrays supported each other and increased their offensive power. It wasn't difficult for 9 people to release 9 different elemental arrays on the divination chessboard. But with only 9 people, the divination chessboard could only increase their offensive power by a little. It wasn't even as good as a lesser-grade spiritual treasure. Doubling the number of people would increase the divination chessboard's power by 1%. Increasing the number of people by 10 times was 10%. Increasing it by 100 times was 100%. Increasing it by 1,000% was the limit. Increasing it by 1,000 times was the limit of the entire divination chessboard. What kind of concept was this? For example, 9,999 7th Order God Emperor Realm Tianjun, standing on the divination chessboard, could increase their offensive power to that of an 8th Order God Emperor. Wasn't it terrifying to jump an entire level? Of course, there was a reason why the Dark Han Ghost clan gave all their treasures to their clansmen and disciples. Only this one treasure was left behind. Firstly, the sorcerers on the divination chessboard had to have the same combat power. Secondly, every elemental array had to be exactly the same. Thirdly, the coordination had to be seamless. Otherwise, the slightest mistake could greatly reduce the power. It was extremely harsh. The entire Dark Han clan could only find 99 people to control the divination chessboard. However, 99 people could only increase the power by 10%. It wasn't even as good as the sorcerer weapon in his hand. Kikik, this old man must have extraordinary strength to be able to enter here. There must be many treasures in his spatial ring. At this moment, Orochi suddenly dug out a space ring from the old man's arm and examined it with shining eyes. "Heavenly formation, come, let's break it." Yamada no Orochi shouted at the heavenly formation. Although this old man is almost dead, he's not dead yet. There's his imprint on it, and with his strength, I can't break it. Unless I kill him, the restrictions on the space ring will automatically be removed. Heavenly formation said to him. "Oh, then let's send him to hell." Orochi grinned. "Dragon King, his strength should be extraordinary. What if we use him as a resource? How much energy do you think his body has left?" Wang Xian replied to Orochi speechlessly as he sized up the old man. Buzz. His dragon eyes flickered with black and white light as he activated the power of the yin-yang heart. The heart of yin-yang could determine whether a person was good or bad. In the universe, there was no expert who was not stained with blood, but the yin-yang heart could still determine whether a person was good or evil. If the heart of yin-yang was classified as a treasure, Wang Xian guessed that it would at least be at the pinnacle of inborn cardinal treasure. The human heart is not evil. Through his senses, he could sense that there was still positive energy in the old man. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment. With a wave of his arm, a jade bottle of vitality fluid appeared in his hand. "Dragon King, are you going to save him?" Orochi asked curiously. "Those who are righteous are also grateful people. It's also beneficial for us to be indebted to an expert." Wang Xian replied as the jade bottle of vitality fluid fell into the old man's body. "That's true. This old man's body has no more energy," Orochi murmured. The vitality fluid fell on the old man's head and was rapidly absorbed by him. His body was like a sponge as he absorbed it crazily. Wang Xian watched quietly from the side. The old man was not dead but starved. As long as there was energy, he could recover quickly. Dragon King, this celestial chessboard is very useful for us dragon shamans. Heavenly Formation said to Wang Xian. After reading the book, his eyes were filled with excitement. My tens of thousands of dragon shamans can use this chessboard to increase its power to the maximum. Heavenly Formation continued. Yeah. Wang Xian nodded. He could also tell that this celestial chessboard was very suitable for the dragon shamans. The dragon shamans learned all kinds of witchcraft and array formations in unison, and had almost insane coordination. The celestial chessboard was perfect for them. Continue to check the surroundings. There should be many useful books here. Keep them. Wang Xian said to Heavenly Formation and the rest. Yes, Dragon King. The few of them nodded, and immediately flew towards the hidden compartments. Cough. Cough. The old man in front of Wang Xian let out an extremely weak sound. Wang Xian looked down, and saw his skinny head gradually filling out. Traces of flesh and blood were growing as his face turned rosy. Vitality fluid was a powerful treasure of the venerable level. It could heal irreversible injuries. Even if a bottle of vitality fluid couldn't fully recover the old man, it could at least restore 1% of his strength. It wouldn't be a problem for him to fly normally. Flesh and blood were growing on the old man's body, as traces of vitality emanated from his body. Wang Xian watched quietly. 10 minutes later, the flesh and blood on the old man's body had fully recovered. He had become a slightly plump old man. Judging from his size, he should be at least 150 kilograms according to Earth standards. Very plump. Is this benefactor the one who saved my life? The old man opened his eyes, stood up slowly and bowed to Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded his head. I'm Ming Xuanji. Thank you, benefactor, for saving me. Ming Xuanji bowed gratefully again. His fingers moved as he calculated. It's been more than 80 million years. You've been here for more than 80 million years? Wang Xian looked at him in surprise. Yes, benefactor. When I entered this place more than 80 million years ago, the owner was obviously a scheming old man. The moment I picked up the celestial chessboard, the array was activated and I was trapped here. Given my strength, I couldn't break the array. Moreover, even after I absorbed the spiritual energy and all my treasures, I still couldn't find a way to break the array. I had no choice but to retract all my vitality and resign myself to fate. Fortunately, benefactor, you guys are here. Otherwise, I would have passed away. Ming Xuanji said bitterly. What? Old man, you said that all the treasures on you are gone? At this time, Orochi flew over and stared at him. Chapter 3003. The trapped old man down below. I've already absorbed everything with a bit of spiritual qi. Even my treasures have been painfully destroyed by me to maintain my vitality. Ming Xuanji said bitterly. For 80 million years, there was no spiritual energy or food here. He could only absorb his treasures as resources to sustain his life. He was extremely lucky to be able to survive after 80 million years. Pauper. Orochi couldn't help but say to the old man. Ahem. I, Ming Xuanji, will never forget the kindness of my benefactor and all of you. I'll definitely repay you in the future. Now, if all of you want to repay me, I can only do so with my body. Oh, and I see that you're a sorcerer, right? I can tell you all the sorcery that I know. At this moment, Ming Xuanji said with a smile. The flesh on his face was twitching. Pay with my body. Orochi's face darkened when he heard him. Oh, are you willing to impart your sorcery to me? Tianjun, who was at the side, was delighted when he heard him. No problem, no problem. You've saved my life. Even if I have to impart all my knowledge to you, it doesn't matter. Ming Xuanji said with a smile. Thank you, thank you. Tianjun cupped his hands immediately. All right, we're done with the looting. Let's leave. Wang Xian chuckled and said. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjun and the rest nodded immediately. Aren't you guys going to take the corpse of Mohan Heife with you? At this moment, Ming Xuanji saw the corpse and asked. This corpse has no energy left. What use is it? Orochi raised an eyebrow and asked. If it's soaked in potions and refined, it can be made into a powerful puppet. Ming Xuanji didn't hide anything. We won't make use of it. You can keep it for yourself. Wang Xian said to him. Great. Thank you, benefactor. Ming Xuanji nodded excitedly. Let's go. Soon. Enlai said and led them out of this place. Ming Xuanji looked at Enlai in surprise. Ming Xuanji, are you familiar with this continent? Wang Xian asked Ming Xuanji as he exited the array. Benefactor, this continent is called the Sorcerer's Grace Continent. I don't know the details. When I first entered this continent, I searched for a long time before I came here. I never expected that I would never be able to leave this continent. Ming Xuanji said. Wizard Grace Continent. Wang Xian and the rest nodded. Have you finished searching the entire continent? No, I've searched about half of it. Ming Xuanji shook his head. Have you been to the other 17 continents? Are you familiar with that place? Wang Xian continued asking. I've been to one of the other 17 continents, but it's basically in ruins. I haven't been to the rest of the continents. Ming Xuanji said. Tianjun, you stay here with Ming Xuanji and learn some witchcraft. We'll go explore other places. Wang Xian said to the sky formation. It's Dragon King. Tianjun nodded. Benefactor, leave the matter of teaching witchcraft to me. I will do my best to teach you. Ming Xuanji immediately nodded. Wang Xian and the rest nodded their heads and continued to explore the surroundings. They didn't let Ming Xuanji follow them, mainly to avoid exposing Enlai's ability. Tianjun followed Ming Xuanji to practice witchcraft while Wang Xian and the rest continued to explore. In the next 2 months, they had obtained quite a lot of treasures. In just 2 months, they had basically searched the entire continent. Not bad. Wang Xian smiled as he looked at the rewards he had obtained over the past few months. He had obtained quite a lot of divine grass and divine wood. There were also over 1,000 God Emperor level weapons. There were also a few 7th or 8th order God Emperors. Tianjun, how's it going? We're leaving. Wang Xian asked with a smile when he returned to where Tianjun and the rest were. Alright, Dragon King. I've memorized some of the witchcraft knowledge. Tianjun nodded his head with a smile on his face. Clearly, he had grasped quite a lot of things over the past 2 months. Brother Tianjun's talent is really terrifying. It won't be long before he surpasses me. Ming Xuanji exclaimed from the side. When he was teaching Tianjun, he was taken aback. Be it his comprehension or control, Tianjun was astounded. Even if his magus knowledge was lower than Leyland's, with such a terrifying ability to learn and grasp, he was sure that Leyland would catch up to him in no time. Brother Ming Xuanji, you flatter me. Thank you for your guidance over the past 2 months. Tianjun cupped his fists and thanked him. Compared to saving my life, this is nothing. Ming Xuanji shook his head immediately. In that case, let's part ways here. Wang Xian looked at Ming Xuanji and said, Alright, please leave your name. I'll pay you a visit in the future to thank you. Ming Xuanji cupped his fists and asked Wang Xian, Dragon Palace, Dragon King. There's no need for gratitude. Goodbye. Wang Xian cupped his fists and looked at Tianjun and the rest. The few of them nodded their heads and flew towards the border of the continent. Dragon King of Dragon Palace? Ming Xuanji murmured as his figure gradually disappeared. After getting out of the confinement array, he could return to his own holy kingdom in an instant. Dragon King, Ming Xuanji is strong and knowledgeable. He has mastered too many sorcery skills. In just 2 months, he has recovered to the 8th Order God Emperor realm. At his peak, he should be a peak God Emperor realm magus. Tianjun said as they flew towards the edge of the battlefield. In the starry sky around the Incan Dynasty ruins, he is considered one of the stronger ones. Wang Xian nodded his head. There were no other low-level races around the Incan Dynasty ruins. A peak God Emperor realm magus was almost invincible in this starry sky. Enlai, get ready to enter the next continent. Wang Xian said. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded his head and disappeared instantly. Hee. After exploring all the continents, our Dragon Palace should be able to reap great rewards. Yamada no Orochi said excitedly. Tianjun and the rest nodded their heads with anticipation and excitement in their eyes. The distance between the 18 continents in the center of the Incan Dynasty ruins wasn't very far. Enlai teleported back after 10 minutes. Dragon King, I've entered the second continent. That continent is a little strange. Enlai flew over and reported to Wang Xian. Strange? Come, let's head over. Wang Xian and the rest were curious. The scene before them changed, and a unique continent appeared before their eyes. This was a 9-colored continent, and 9 different types of light enveloped this continent. There weren't any buildings in the entire continent. Chapter 3004. 9-colored radiance shrouded the entire continent. 9 types of elemental energy were presented by a special array. Below them, the entire continent looked extremely flat, and there were no buildings on it. Instead, there were praying mats for cultivation. The 9-colored radiance divided the entire continent into 9 sections. At the center, they could see a 9-colored light pillar. What's this? Wang Xian sized up this world with his dragon eyes, and his face was filled with astonishment. The entire continent was obviously much smaller than before. However, the continent looked very magical. It looks like a training ground. Tianjun and the rest frowned and guessed. The dojo was a cultivation ground owned by powerful forces. It was similar to the dragon field of the Dragon Palace. Let's go to the center, said Wang Xian. He immediately flew towards the center of the light pillar. They were fast. Without searching for treasures, it would only take them tens of minutes to reach the center. This is... When Wang Xian and the rest approached the center, the tentacles of the treasure-seeking ant on their shoulders glowed brightly. There are treasures. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and stopped in front of the light pillar. He looked down and saw 9 incomparably huge ponds. The ponds were filled with liquids of various colors, and the light pillar came from these ponds. What's this? It's so magical. Orochi could not help but ask. I realized that I can easily sense the various elemental energy here. Tianjun stood at the side and waved his arm. An array was formed. He waved his arm again, and the array dissipated. The energy blended into the surrounding void. Wang Xian and the rest looked at Tianjun. This should be the training ground of the Emohan clan. Setting up arrays here will increase the speed by 10 times. Moreover, the consumption will be very low. If you practice setting up arrays here, you will get a huge boost. Tianjun said to them. As he finished his sentence, he looked down at the ponds. In each of the ponds, there were 19 praying mats. Tianjun moved and landed on one of the praying mats. He sat down with his legs crossed. Dragon King, this is a sacred place for array sorcerers to cultivate. Look at these praying mats. Each of them is a peak Emperor God treasure. Subsequently, Tianjun sized up the praying mats he was sitting on and commented in shock. What? Why is he so perverted? Tianjun and the others exclaimed and immediately flew down. Wang Xian also flew down immediately. Dragon King, take a look. It is indeed a peak Emperor God level praying mat. This is definitely the cultivation holy land of the Inkhan clan. Tianjun said confidently. These praying mats are indeed at the peak stage God Emperor grade. There are 19 of them in one pool, and over 109 pools. This is truly extravagant. This is the foundation of a primary race in the universe, he said with slight trembling. Over 100 peak Emperor God treasures. If placed around the Inkhan dynasty ruins, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. Dragon King, I plan to let Dragon Witch cultivate here. Cultivating here will greatly increase their combat power. Tianjun immediately said. Sure. Wang Xian nodded his head. The dragon field of the Dragon Palace didn't have any treasures specifically for wizard cultivation. The strongest point of the dragon field was that it could enhance one's comprehension. It was completely different from this place. This was a treasured land used to increase one's proficiency in array formations. It complemented the dragon field of the Dragon Palace. And Lai, bring all the dragon witches over. Roving demon, roving crab, 8-headed serpent. Check the surroundings for any treasures. I'll increase my strength first. Wang Xian instructed them one by one. Yes. The few of them answered immediately. Wang Xian passed the treasure-seeking ant to 8-headed serpent, walked to the side of the pool, and took out elixir pills. In the previous land, Wang Xian didn't obtain many elixir pills, but he did obtain many divine herbs and divine wood. The most precious were the 4 reverse current hearts. The reverse current heart was a peak stage God Emperor divine flower. 4 of them, in addition to the other elixir pills, were sufficient to improve his strength further. Ding! Congratulations to the host for leveling up to Second Order Void God Emperor. Ding! Congratulations to the host for comprehending the law of Divine Dragon. 5 Elements Dragon Claw. Soon, the system's notification sounded. Waves of powerful aura gushed out from Wuxia's body. On both of his palms, 5 colored rays of light lingered on his fingers. The radiance gradually condensed into a 5-colored divine dragon and entered Wuxia's palm. Name: Wuxian Race. Yin Yang 5 Elements Divine Dragon. 1 with the dragon rank. Second Order Void God Emperor. 8th Transformation of Divine Dragon Transformation. Origin Source. 12396010000000000 Superpower. Dominate the marine animals. Rule any marine animals lower than your own level. Devour living creatures. Extract origin source from living creatures. 5 Elements Control Cultivation Technique. Divine Dragon Transformation Superpower. Soul Assimilation. Spirit Attachment Law of Divine. Abilities. Dragon Eyes 8 Desolations 5 Elements Dragon Clawed Arma Form. 5 Elements Grindstone. Dragon Country in the Palm. Dragon Head Descending. 10,000 Miles Dragon Body. Yin Yang 2 Poles. Yin Yang 5 Elements Bowl. Divine Dragon Tail Whip. Law of Mastery. Metal, Wood, Water, Fire, Earth, Light, Dark, Wind God Kingdom. Dragon Palace Own Dragon Palace. Level 9 Dragon Palace Members. 1032450 Few. He opened his eyes, and a smile appeared on his face. Second Order God Emperor. My current combat strength can reach the Void 8th Order God Emperor realm. He clenched his fists, feeling the immense power, and was full of smiles. Given his current strength, he could wipe out the entire 3-eyed race and 4-armed race by himself. He looked to the side, where the members of the Witch Dragon were practicing their arrays. The tens of thousands of Witch Dragon were around the 9th Order God King realm. They weren't strong, but they weren't weak either. Tianjun sat cross-legged at the side, cultivating quietly. But at this moment Tianjun, who was cultivating on the futon, raised an eyebrow. He waved his arm, and took out an item from his spatial ring. Dragon King, there's a problem at the entrance. Seeing that Wuxia had broken through, he flew over immediately. What's wrong? The array you set up at the entrance has been broken? Wuxia raised an eyebrow and asked. The entrance was naturally the 2 entrances to the resplendent starry sky. Yes, the array I set up at the entrance has been broken forcefully. It should be the people from the 2 major races. Tianjun replied. The 2 major races. Wuxia's eyes revealed a sinister look. It seems like the 2 major races haven't given up on our Dragon Palace. In that case, let's use their corpses as resources for our Dragon Palace to improve, he said with a murderous aura. Since he had just broken through, he could use the 2 major races as an example. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjun nodded his head, and his eyes were filled with a sinister look. He was also filled with murderous intent towards the 3-eyed race and 4-armed race, who had repeatedly invaded their territory. Chapter 3005. One man kills millions on, It's been half a year. We've finally found the entrance to that space. At the edge of the Inkhong clan's ruins, the 4-armed tribe and 3-eyed tribe stared at the space in front of them with excitement. The 2 factions, with a total of 10 million experts, had searched for more than half a year before they finally found the entrance to that space. At the very front, the 4-armed tribe leader, who was sitting on a lotus, and the 3-eyed tribe leader, who was riding on a 1-eyed rhinoceros, revealed faint smiles on their faces. They looked at the entrance to the starry sky, and looked at each other. This array is able to defend against the attacks of a 6th Order God Emperor realm expert. The person who arranged this array should be a 6th Order God Emperor realm magus. No wonder our vanguard army was annihilated. The 4-armed tribe leader said indifferently. No matter how powerful they are, we'll make them pay the price of destruction. Let's go. The 3-eyed tribe leader said indifferently. His figure flashed, and the 2 of them flew towards the entrance. The chiefs of the 2 tribes entered, and the other clansmen followed behind them with faces filled with excitement. This time, The two tribes had sent over 80% of their forces. Adding on the alliance between the two forces, it was not an exaggeration to say that they were a formidable force in the vicinity of the Ink Han clan's ruins. I wonder how many lesser dragons with the divine dragon bloodline there are in that dragon palace. As long as there are a few hundred of them, it's a huge resource. One has to know that lesser dragons are extremely valuable in the current universe. If there were tens of thousands of them, that would be even better. We can also become dragon knights. As the two tribes entered the resplendent starry sky, they looked around excitedly and discussed among themselves. In the current universe, even a lesser dragon was extremely valuable. The divine dragon bloodline was incomparably noble. As long as one had the divine dragon bloodline, they could reach the peak of the God Emperor realm with some nurturing. If the bloodline was pure, they could even reach the universe venerable realm. What kind of concept was that? Universe venerables were terrifying existences that only low-level races could possess. Being able to own a divine dragon as a mount represented one's identity and status. Even their tribe leader was not qualified to use a lesser dragon as a mount. When they said they wanted to be dragon knights, it was just for fun. The group of 10 million people, with the weakest being a 6th-order God Emperor realm expert, was the core strength of the two tribes. There were over 20,000 God Emperor realm experts, and they entered the resplendent starry sky in a grandiose manner. What were the people of these two races doing? Almost 80% of their forces are gathered here. And they actually entered the ruins of the Han clan. Just as everyone from the two races entered through the entrance, more than a dozen figures hidden in the void behind them looked at them suspiciously. The dozen of them had noticed the situation here 2 months ago. The Three-Eyed Tribe and the Four-Armed Tribe had more than 10 million people in total. Although they had done a lot of concealment and spread out, they still noticed something fishy. Come, let's follow them and take a look. Since the two great tribes have been searching for so long, there must be some great treasures. One of them said, "Let's go." More than a dozen people moved and immediately followed behind and entered. Three-Eyed Patriarch, can you find the way? At the forefront of the two races, 10 million people had entered. The Four-Armed Tribe leader, who was sitting on a lotus, looked around and asked the Three-Eyed Patriarch, "Let me check it out." The Three-Eyed Patriarch nodded, and the pitch-black eye between his brows sized up this world coldly. Under the gaze of his glabella, everything was deathly pale. "I found traces of the Four-Armed Tribe. Follow me," the Three-Eyed Patriarch said plainly. The one-eyed rhinoceros under him immediately galloped forward towards the planet on the other side of the 8 Desolations 6 Directions planet. Dragon King, they have entered the 8 Desolations 6 Directions planet and are flying in our direction. TSK. I have to say that the races in this universe are really powerful. They actually know where we are. At this very moment, Wang Xian and the rest were standing on a meteorite in the void not far away from the two tribes. And Lai teleported over and reported the situation. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and revealed a cold expression. "How's the heavenly array?" Wang Xian asked Heavenly Array. "Dragon King, the heavenly array can definitely be completed before they arrive. However, the heavenly array will collapse if it's attacked by 2 to 3 7th-order God Emperor realm experts," Heavenly Array said. "It's enough to trap the other members of the two races. Those 7th-order God Emperor realm experts won't have a chance to attack the heavenly array," Wang Xian said plainly. With the strength of a 6th-order God Emperor, they can forget about breaking through our blockade." Heavenly Array chuckled and revealed a confident look. "Just leave it to me to trap them." Wang Xian stood there quietly. The 5 elements grindstone transformed into a crown on his head, and the yin-yang dragon coiled around him. Time passed slowly. Tianjun was standing behind Wang Xian, waiting for him. Before long, an army of over 10 million people appeared in their sight. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and they shone brightly. The Three-Eyed Patriarch stared ahead with the black eye between his brows. When he saw the two figures standing on the meteorite, his black eyes wavered slightly. "There's someone ahead," the Three-Eyed Patriarch said plainly. "Huh?" The patriarch of the four-armed tribe narrowed his eyes as a blurry figure appeared in his sight. Did he know we were coming? The patriarch of the four-armed tribe raised an eyebrow and said plainly, "Be careful." The eyes of the patriarch of the three-eyed tribe flickered. The patriarch of the four-armed tribe nodded his head, and the group continued to fly forward. The distance between the two parties was getting closer. There's someone ahead? There are indeed two people. What are they doing on the meteorite? Soon, the experts from the two races noticed the two figures in front of them. They were curious and whispered to each other. "Everyone, may I know why you are here at the bedazzling starry sky?" Wang Xian asked plainly as he saw them approaching. "Who are you? Members of the bedazzling starry sky dragon palace?" The patriarch of the three-eyed tribe waved his hand when he heard Wang Xian's question. Everyone stopped immediately. The patriarch of the four-armed tribe did the same and looked at Wang Xian. "Yes, are you here to invade our dragon palace?" Wang Xian continued to ask. "Were the disciples of my four-armed tribe killed by your dragon palace?" The patriarch of the four-armed tribe stood up slowly and retorted with murderous intent. "It's your people who are courting death." Wang Xian nodded his head, and the unbeginning saint wings appeared behind him. Chapter 3006. One man killing millions in. You said our people are courting death. I think your dragon palace is courting death too. The leader of the four-armed tribe revealed a sinister expression when he heard Wang Xian's words. The leader of the three-eyed tribe sized Wang Xian up coldly. He sensed Wang Xian's strength and was prepared to make a move. You will soon know who will die next. Wang Xian smiled faintly. Tianjun, who was standing by the side, took out a weapon he had obtained from the Ink Han tribe and waved his arm lightly. Buzz buzz buzz. In the next moment, ripples appeared in the void. Unlike the array, this was Tianjun's newly mastered space sealing array that could seal the entire void. The four-armed tribe and three-eyed tribe that were suddenly enveloped by the array were taken aback. How dare they seal us? Are they courting death? This is a space sealing array. What are they trying to do? Do they think they can fight us with their strength? They are courting death. Kill them. When the four-armed tribe and three-eyed tribe saw the array enveloping them, some of them were enraged. However, many of them revealed a hint of wariness. Since the other party dared to envelop them with a space sealing array, it was definitely not just to scare them. Moreover, some of the experts could sense that this space sealing array was very powerful. Destroy the space sealing array. The leader of the three-eyed tribe narrowed his eyes and immediately gave the order. Do it. The leader of the four-armed tribe also gave the order. They felt uneasy being enveloped by this space sealing array. After the leaders of the two tribes gave the order, the dozen Seventh Order God Emperor realm experts behind them moved. However, Wang Xian also made his move the moment they made their move. Whoosh! The unparalleled saint wings spread out, and his speed reached a terrifying level. Dragon eyes locking 8 desolations. Wang Xian shot out a terrifying pressure from his eyes and charged towards them. In his dragon eyes, the shadows of 9 divine dragons rushed out, dragging long chains behind them. Walala! The speed of the 9 divine dragon shadows was incomparably fast. In the blink of an eye, they were in front of the experts of the two tribes. Not good. What kind of attack is this? When Wang Xian's nomological mystique attacked, the four-armed tribe chief and the three-eyed tribe chief, who were at the forefront, were horrified. Their pupils constricted slightly and were filled with shock. Block this attack first. The three-eyed patriarch's black pupil between his eyebrows revealed a shocked expression, and he immediately roared. What happened? When the 10 million people of the two tribes heard the voice of the three-eyed tribe's patriarch, their faces were filled with shock. Attack. The other dozen or so Seventh Order God Emperor realm experts also felt the threat from the 8 desolation dragon eyes. Their expressions changed in an instant, and they rushed forward to receive the attack. Roar! At this moment, Wang Xian dashed over at a terrifying speed. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he locked onto the leader of the four-armed tribe. Damn! He's an 8th Order God Emperor realm expert. Upon seeing Wang Xian's terrifying speed, the four-armed tribesman bellowed in horror. His forearms lengthened abruptly. Spears appeared in his palms as he charged towards Wang Xian. Die! However, his speed was too slow in Wang Xian's eyes. With his current combat power at the peak of the 8th Order God Emperor realm, he could instantly kill an 8th Order God Emperor realm expert. A 7th Order God Emperor realm expert, even if the patriarch of a tribe had many treasures, was useless against him. PFFF. The Four-Armed Tribe's patriarch wanted to attack Wang Xian. However, Wang Xian flapped his unbeginning saint wings and appeared behind him in an instant. What terrifying speed! The Four-Armed Tribe's patriarch's pupils shrank, and his face was filled with shock. The current Wang Xian's speed was comparable to a 9th Order God Emperor realm expert. The Four-Armed Tribe's patriarch could not react in time. PFFF. In the next instant, Wang Xian's palm entered the Four-Armed Tribe's patriarch's body, and a destructive energy drained away his vitality. The Four-Armed Tribe's patriarch's eyes widened, and his body trembled. Humph! A soft snort sounded in his ears. Walala! At this moment, numerous chains wrapped around the entire void. The unbeginning saint wings flapped, and Wang Xian instantly charged towards the next 7th Order God Emperor realm expert. What? This is impossible! An incomparably shocked voice came from behind. The Four-Armed Tribe's patriarch was killed in an instant, and their faces were filled with shock. Their patriarch was killed in an instant. That was their patriarch, a 7th Order God Emperor realm expert. That person is an 8th Order God Emperor realm expert. At the back, a God Emperor roared in fear. An 8th Order God Emperor realm expert was an existence that surpassed their two tribes. This is bad. Just as the two tribes had a bad premonition, Wang Xian's figure appeared beside one of the Three-Eyed Tribe's 7th Order God Emperor realm experts. Die for me! That Three-Eyed Tribe's expert saw Wang Xian charging towards him, and his eyes turned bloodshot as he roared with all his might. You're the one who's going to die. A terrifying attack came towards Wang Xian, and he did not dodge at all. He raised his arm, and his dragon claw enlarged. 5 Elements Dragon Claw. The 5 Elements Dragon Claw contain the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Radiance intertwined, forming a dusky energy. Filled with the power of death, it destroyed the Three-Eyed Tribe's 7th Order God Emperor realm expert's attack, as the dragon claw grabbed his body. As if he had experienced the river of time, the vitality in his body was erased in an instant. Surround him, the Three-Eyed Tribe's patriarch, and the group of 7th Order God realm experts roared in fear when they saw Wang Xian killing 2 people in an instant. Law of Death, Eye of Death. Law of Death, 4 arms connecting the heavens. Violent roars reverberated through the air, and the 7th Order God Emperor realm experts did not dare to hold back. They immediately executed their Law of Death and attacked Wang Xian. You're too slow. You want to destroy our dragon palace? Today, I'll make you pay with your lives. Wang Xian revealed a look of disdain when he saw their attacks. With a sway of his body, he easily dodged their attacks. He hovered in the void at the side. Tao of Judgment. Dragon eyes locking the 8 desolations, 5 elements dragon claw, explode. Wang Xian stared at the 12 7th Order God Emperor realm experts in front of him, and the chains around him pierced through them. An incomparably huge dragon claw appeared in the void, and the dusky dragon claw looked sinister and terrifying. It contained the power of death. Chains and dragon claw rained down on them. Eye of Death. The Three-Eyed Tribe's patriarch's heart skipped a beat when he saw this terrifying attack. With a flick of his palm, a strange pupil appeared in his hand. A dead spirit floated out from the pupil, and it enveloped him. Chapter 3007. One man killing millions below. Boom. 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 A terrifying attack that blotted out the sky descended upon the 13 7th Order God Emperor realm experts. Chains coiled around the dusky dragon claws as the terrifying attack fell upon them. The strongest experts of the two tribes were filled with fear and astonishment as they faced Wang Xian's attacks. Block, block. They released their trump cards with fear written all over their faces. The patriarch of the Three-Eyed Tribe who was surrounded by the dead souls. The expert of the Four-Armed Tribe, who was protected by the 4 giant palms. The expert of the 3-eyed tribe who was fleeing frantically, and the elder of the 4-armed tribe, who was protected by the golden palms. Bam! As the giant palms descended, the oppressive force caused the void to explode. Arg! Blood-curdling screams rang out as the bodies of the 7th Order God Emperor Realm experts started to crumble. Damn it, we are no match for him. The elder of the 3-eyed tribe watched as the bodies of his clansmen and 4-armed tribe's experts crumbled as chains pierced through their bodies. His face was filled with horror. Dead spirit substitute. The patriarch of the 3-eyed tribe roared with an ugly expression. Bam! In the next moment, the dead souls in front of him entered his body, and the eye of the dead spirits in his hand pierced through his forehead. His body trembled slightly. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Chains pierced through his body, rapidly melting away his life force. But at this time, a black dot disappeared like a black hole. Wang Xian swept his gaze over, and his eyes shone with brilliance. Ah, Buddha Radiance Golden Palm, take me into the Buddha Kingdom. At this time, another violent roar came from below. Wang Xian swept his gaze across. When the 4-armed expert who was protected by the golden palm saw the golden palm crumble, a golden sea flew out of his body. The sea contained the shadow of a great hall. With a swift move he dived into it. The patriarch of the 3-eyed tribe and the 4-armed tribe expert had escaped. Not bad indeed. Wang Xian looked over and wasn't too surprised. It was normal for such experts to have some tricks up their sleeves. But all of you shall die. Wang Xian's 5 elements dragon claws were covered in chains as he crushed the other 11 7th Order God Emperor Realm experts. No! Blood-curdling screams filled the air as the 7th Order God Emperor Realm experts lost all signs of life. No no no, how can this be, how can this be? Patriarch and the others, Supreme Elder, Protector and the others are all dead. Behind them, everyone from the 2 tribes widened their eyes when they saw this. Their faces were filled with astonishment. Their bodies trembled as they watched this scene. The 2 clans worked together to find the entrance for more than half a year. They thought that they would be able to harvest a large number of sky dragons. They were still fantasizing about obtaining a great opportunity. The result was actually like this? They were basically here to die. Break the formation and run. One of the 6th Order God Emperor Realm elders roared. Run 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 run. Run. Terrified cries rang out. In an instant, tens of millions of people fled in all directions frantically. The Dragon Palace has no enmity with you, but you want to destroy us. You can only blame yourselves. Wang Xian's body trembled slightly as he looked at the experts from the 2 tribes who were in a frenzy. Be annihilated in the river of time. Wang Xian's body trembled slightly as he raised his palm, which turned into a massive dragon claw. With a wave of his arm, a grayish destructive energy engulfed the tens of millions of people who were fleeing in a frenzy. A river of destruction appeared and engulfed all of them. The terrifying river of time swept past, and the experts at the forefront were instantly annihilated in the river of time. All signs of life disappeared. No. Some people saw the river of time engulfing them, and their faces were filled with despair as they resisted with all their might. However, the gap between them and Wang Xian was too great. Wang Xian could kill 8th Order God Emperor Realm experts in an instant. What could they use to resist? The river of time swept past quickly, and the tens of millions of people were drowned in it, leaving only corpses behind. All the experts from the 2 tribes were annihilated, other than the patriarch of the 3 Eyes tribe, and an expert from the 4 Arms tribe who escaped. The rest were all left behind. Murderers should have this kind of awareness. This was a war between races, and there was no right or wrong. He's so strong. That young man is so strong. He actually annihilated 2 tribes by himself. This. At the same time, a dozen people who had been following behind the 2 tribes witnessed this scene, and their faces were filled with shock. That expert is an 8th Order God Emperor Realm expert, and there's a 7th Order God Emperor Realm shaman, who set up the array in advance. The 3 Eyes tribe and the 4 Arms tribe are simply sending themselves to their deaths. An old man in the middle couldn't help but shout in a low voice. I didn't expect such a powerful expert to be hiding here. They said with slight trembling. Not good. That expert is looking in our direction. Run, run. All of a sudden, they felt a terrifying pair of eyes looking in their direction. Their faces were filled with fear. Even though they were 6th Order God Emperor realm experts, they were still filled with fear when facing an expert who could annihilate 2 tribes. Without any hesitation, they fled back to their own divine nations. Wang Xian's gaze swept across the dozen of people, and there wasn't a single ripple in his eyes. Dragon King Tianjin flew over at this time, and his eyes were filled with excitement. Keep these corpses, the harvest is not bad. A faint smile appeared on Wang Xian's face. Even though the 2 tribes had invaded the Dragon Palace many times in an attempt to annihilate it, they had also brought a huge amount of resources to the Dragon Palace. Just this time, there were over 20,000 God Emperor corpses, and there were tens of millions of 6th Order God King realm and above. Such a huge amount of resources would definitely increase the strength of the Dragon Palace by a terrifying amount. Yes, Dragon King. After this battle, our Dragon Palace will be noticed by some forces in the center of the cosmos. Tianjin said. After absorbing the resources this time, the strength of our Dragon Palace will be considered strong among the tribes in the center of the cosmos. Wang Xian chuckled and said, with such strength, it shouldn't be a problem for them to protect themselves. Those forces that wanted to attack the Dragon Palace would have to consider if it was worth it. Moreover, they had yet to finish exploring the ruins of the Inkhan clan. Once they finished exploring, the Dragon Palace should be able to obtain another upgrade. Go back. Wang Xian was in a good mood, and he immediately returned to the Dragon Palace. Prime Minister Turtle, get all the members of the Dragon Palace ready to increase their strength. Wang Xian immediately passed down the order when he returned to the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, you have annihilated the 2 tribes? Prime Minister Turtle's eyes were burning with passion. Wang Xian nodded his head indifferently, prepared to enter the center of the cosmos. Chapter 3008. Universe AI Dragon King. The advancement of all Dragon Palace members has been arranged. This is the information we got from the Inkhan tribe ruins. We also bought some Universe AI from them. In the Dragon King Palace, Prime Minister Turtle came to report after arranging for all Dragon Palace members to cultivate in the Dragon Transformation Pool. When Wang Xian brought Tianjin and Lai and the rest into the Inkhan tribe ruins, Prime Minister Turtle had already sent Mo Sha and the rest to understand the center of the universe. The Universe AI was the communication tool of the center of the universe. It was also the mainstream communication tool of the center of the universe. It was released by the Universe AI Group. The Universe AI was known as the safest communication tool. It had existed since a long time ago. It was rumored that it was made from an extremely powerful spiritual type treasure of unlocking the world's fortune. Rather than saying it was built, it could also be said that the experts of the universe were using the spirit type treasure. Wang Xian had also seen the description of the Universe AI in the treasure book of Inkhan Ghost Art. It was described that the core of the Universe AI was a spirit-type treasure. People's consciousness could enter it. There was an endless space inside this treasure of unlocking the heavens' fortune. As a result, some experts began to study this endless space. Following that, communication were slowly developed, and they were put into a special medium. As time passed, more and more things were formed in this endless space. It had completely become a second universe. Here one could do games, entertainment, and even cultivation. If a person entered the AI could sense the strength of the person's body. The body in the AI had the same physical strength. As for battle techniques and various nomological abilities, they could also be used in the AI. The intelligence system could even carry out battles. And there were countless experts inside. Once one was famous in the AI, it was equivalent to being famous in the universe. This was because the world of the AI was interconnected with reality. The powerful universe intelligent brain was recorded in that book as the most probable existence of all known treasures of creation and fortune. No one could obtain other people's information from the AI, hence the entire AI was very safe. Wang Xian had some understanding of the AI from the three-eyed and four-armed race experts. He took the AI from Prime Minister Turtle and sized it up. The AI was the size of a palm. There were patterns on it. With a thought, his consciousness entered it. Buzz! At the next moment, Wang Xian sensed that he was floating above a vast continent. The entire continent was incomparably huge. This continent was modeled after the primeval continent at the center of the universe. There were all kinds of buildings on the continent, and countless living beings gathered there. With a thought, images appeared in front of Wang Xian. Just like a computer, he could understand any information. Among them, the most eye-catching place was a ranking of the universe's races. After he opened it, he realized that there were only mid-tier and below races in the universe. There wasn't even a high-tier race, much less a universe dominator race. Like the high-level races of the universe, the dominator-level races, they were no longer something normal people could discuss. Each and every one of them had gone through countless eons of tribulation. One had to know that a cataclysm would last for over 30 billion years. No one knew how deep their trump cards were, or how strong they were. How could they be ranked so casually? Wang Xian took a casual look and returned to reality with a shift of his mind. This universe smart brain is much stronger than the technological smart brain. Wang Xian exclaimed. Yes, Dragon King. Recently, Roving Sword has been entering the universe smart brain to spar with various sword cultivators. Training in the universe smart brain is no different from training in reality. It can even simulate various terrains and challenge various experts in the universe. This is also one of the reasons why the center of the universe is so powerful. Prime Minister Turtle said with a smile. Wang Xian nodded slightly. The universe smart brain was indeed very useful for training in actual combat. However, in the universe smart brain, if the person formed was shattered, it would cause some damage to the person's spirit. The damage wasn't serious, but the person wouldn't be able to enter the universe smart brain within 10 years. It was best not to be shattered again within 100 years. Otherwise, the person wouldn't be able to form a body within 1,000 years. After annihilating the two major races, we should be completely exposed in the resplendent starry sky. Make some preparations to deal with external forces, and let all members be vigilant. In addition, tell Wind Divine Dragon and the other 8 not to go out for the time being. Let them cultivate in the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian instructed Prime Minister Turtle. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. Let's go and lie. Let's continue exploring the ruins of the Ink Han dynasty. Wang Xian called and Lai along. Together with the Heavenly Array, they continued exploring the continents of the Ink Han dynasty ruins. It's over, everything is over. At the same time, in the territory of the Three-Eyed Tribe not far away from the ruins of the Ink Han dynasty, the Three-Eyed Tribe leader was sitting on a throne in his divine kingdom weekly. He slowly stood up with a pale face and made a difficult decision. With a flash he flew out. What? All the tribesmen who went out with you were annihilated. Soon, in the main hall of the Three-Eyed Tribe, dozens of elders and deacons in charge of the tribe looked at the leader in front of them in shock. Their bodies were trembling. They have an 8th Order God Emperor realm expert. The leader of the Three-Eyed Tribe leaned on the throne with a pale face. Informed the rest of the elite disciples of the Three-Eyed Tribe to gather with all their treasures and resources. We'll hide for the time being. Also, informed the rest of the tribesmen to hide and wait for the Three-Eyed Tribe to rebuild. The leader of the Three-Eyed Tribe announced helplessly and unwillingly. He had never imagined that this expedition, which he had thought would be a fortuitous opportunity, would be a complete annihilation. 80% of the experts in the tribe were annihilated. The Three-Eyed Tribe was finished. To prevent the Dragon Palace from coming for revenge, and to prevent the other tribes from knowing about this, they had to escape in advance. Otherwise, even if the experts from the Dragon Palace did not come, the surrounding tribes would come and take a bite out of the Three-Eyed Tribe's territory and bless Grotto Heavens. Disband the tribe. The remaining tribesmen of the Three-Eyed Tribe trembled with bloodshot eyes. Once they were disbanded, it would be difficult to rebuild and restore their glory. In that case, They would become rootless trees and water without a source in the universe. The people from Dragon Palace actually killed all our experts. That Dragon Palace is so cruel. We want revenge. Revenge. An old man could not help but roar with hatred. How? An old man beside him held his head in despair. Leader, there's a chance for revenge. Not long ago, Emperor God Hong Tian announced the establishment of a territory tribe and recruited experts. If we... At this time, an old man raised his head and gritted his teeth. Hearing his words, everyone's heart skipped a beat. Even the leader of the three-eyed tribe had a complicated expression on his face. Everyone understood what he meant. However, joining a force established by an expert meant that they would never have a chance to rise again. It meant that the three-eyed tribe would disappear from the universe. Chapter 3009. Surrounded by tigers and wolves, we have to take our revenge. Joining the force created by Emperor God Hong Tian is the worst choice we can make. In the base of the three-eyed tribe, the leader of the three-eyed tribe clenched his fist and said with a pale face, he didn't want the three-eyed tribe to be annihilated in his hands. If they were to be annihilated, he would be the sinner of the three-eyed tribe. Spread the news about Dragon Palace immediately. Exaggerate it. Say that Dragon Palace has a divine dragon with a very pure bloodline. Say that they have a large number of alternative dragons. The leader of the three-eyed tribe said with a gloomy face, I don't believe that no forces around the Ink Han tribe ruins will be tempted by this news. Once they go over to investigate, they will definitely clash with Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace's alternative dragons with the divine dragon bloodline will definitely become the hunting target of many forces. He continued with a cold face. Yes, leader. Let's spread the news immediately. The experts of the three-eyed tribe nodded immediately. Contact the four-armed tribe. Also, announce that all clansmen should leave this place. The leader of the three-eyed tribe said the last sentence weakly. With that, he closed his eyes and leaned back on the throne. Yes. The rest of the clansmen lowered their heads and replied with an ugly expression. Soon, the disbandment of the three-eyed tribe caused an uproar among the clansmen. At the same time, the three-eyed tribe released all the information about Dragon Palace on the universe's AI. The center of the universe was incomparably vast. The information in the AI was densely packed every second. No one could receive the information from the entire center of the universe. Most of them could only receive information from a certain region. For example, if it was set to 1,000,000 light years away, the information that could be seen would be released within 1,000,000 light years. Moreover, the AI had a special characteristic. The information released by the experts would be at the front, due to their strong mental strength. Everyone would be able to see the information released by the experts. Secondly, many forces would release the information using their real names, or adding the prefix of their force. These forces and experts mainly wanted to attract powerful living beings. In the center of the universe, not every living being had their own race or force. Many living beings were rootless in the universe. There were many such living beings, and some of them weren't weak either. Many races liked to recruit such people. The message released by the three-eyed tribe was completely in the name of the entire three-eyed tribe. When this message was sent out, it instantly attracted the attention of countless people. Some specialized members of domain-level races also immediately paid attention to this message. When they saw the contents, all the forces were slightly shocked. A divine dragon with a pure bloodline and many drakes? Is this real or fake? Do you think the three-eyed tribe would be kind enough to tell everyone about this? Is the three-eyed race plotting something? When the experts of all the forces saw this message, they were filled with shock and suspicion. A flood dragon, a pure-blooded divine dragon, was a huge treasure. A powerful flood dragon could be exchanged for many treasures in the center of the universe. If the bloodline was relatively pure, those powerful universe races would be willing to pay a huge price to purchase it. Now that they were so kind as to publicize this information, it was obvious that they were plotting something. But soon, another two sensational pieces of news came out. The three-eyed clan had disbanded. The four-armed tribe had also disbanded. There was also news from the Four-Armed tribe that 80% of their experts had been killed by the Dragon Palace experts. The Dragon Palace, for the first time, appeared in the eyes of the forces in the center of the universe. In the next 2 days, more information about the Four-Armed tribe and the Three-Eyed tribe appeared. The forces in the center of the universe also had some understanding of this matter. The two tribes accidentally discovered that there was a starry sky within the Incan tribe's ruins. In that starry sky, there were opportunities and legends about the divine dragon. With regards to this discovery, the two tribes thought that they had encountered an opportunity and immediately sent a large number of experts over. They did not expect to encounter a disaster. I didn't expect there to be a void within the Incan tribe's ruins and the existence of a flood dragon. If the news released by the Four-Armed tribe and the Three-Eyed tribe is true, then this Dragon Palace is not simple. It's a little too exaggerated to become such a colossus in just a few decades. The Three-Eyed tribe and the Four-Armed tribe said that the Dragon Palace had obtained the inheritance of a powerful divine dragon and the Incan tribe. Is this true? The two tribes must be trying to get someone else to do their dirty work. They purposely exaggerated some things. On the Universe AI, countless people were discussing. However, some forces were tempted by the Three-Eyed tribe's news. Not for any other reason, but the temptation of a flood dragon and a divine dragon was too great. Moreover, they also wanted to know whether the things announced by the Three-Eyed tribe were true or not. If they were, then, especially to some of the domain races, they were even more tempted by this news. Some of the stronger forces secretly sent some people into the bedazzling starry sky to investigate the news. The situation is not in our Dragon Palace's favor. Prime Minister Turtle was also the first to receive the news on the Universe AI. Looking at the information, his face turned solemn. Currently, the Dragon Palace knew the forces around the Incan tribe's ruins like the back of their hands. There were hundreds of tribes and dozens of domain races. The tribes were still fine. The strongest was only an 8th Order God Emperor. But for the domain races, the experts among them had reached the peak God Emperor realm. If a powerful domain race attacked, the Dragon Palace would not be able to defend against them. Even if the Dragon Palace's strength had improved tremendously. All spiky dragons, get ready. If you encounter any ill-intentioned people, kill them immediately. If anyone violates our rules in the bedazzling starry sky, kill them immediately. At this time, the Dragon Palace must be strong and not weak. Prime Minister Turtle gathered the leaders of the Dragon Palace and instructed. Yes, Prime Minister Turtle. Roving Demon nodded. Yaki Devil Fiend, lead the Venomhorn dragons, and pay attention to the experts who entered the bedazzling starry sky. Find out their true intentions. Prime Minister Turtle continued to instruct Yaki Devil Fiend. Yes, Prime Minister Turtle. Yaki Devil Fiend nodded. Prime Minister Turtle fell into deep thought. With a thought, he transmitted the situation over to the Dragon King. At the same time, on a continent in the Incan tribe's ruins, Wuxia frowned when he received the news from Prime Minister Turtle. Ever since the Dragon Palace entered the center of the universe, it has been too passive. He frowned as he read the news. There were too many experts in the center of the universe. Currently, the Dragon Palace was not strong. In addition to the divine dragon bloodline, the entire Dragon Palace was surrounded by tigers and wolves. If they were not careful, they would be consigned to eternal damnation. Chapter 30:10. Those who offend the Dragon Palace on. The Dragon Palace can't afford to show weakness at this time. At most, we'll turn the world upside down. Wuxia floated above a continent and looked at the ocean in front of him with a cold look in his eyes. Ever since the universe races discovered the bedazzling stars and the Dragon Palace, they thought they could do whatever they wanted. If they thought so, they would be sorely mistaken. Although the Dragon Palace wasn't strong, it could still make a domain-level race pay a heavy price. Dragon King, we've checked. Other than a few hundred wild beasts below the 5th Order God Emperor realm, there aren't any other powerful marine creatures. At this time, Tianjin and Enlai flew over and reported to Wuxia. Are there any treasures? Wang Xian asked. We haven't found any treasures like the refining sorcerer continent. Even if there are many treasures, they're probably limited. Tianjin said. Let's go and check the other continents first. After that, we'll move the main dragon palace here. Wang Xian said. Move the main dragon palace here? Tianjin was taken aback and asked, Dragon King, did something happen at the bedazzling stars? Nothing happened for the time being, but we have to take precautions and search the other continents. Wang Xian shook his head and said to Enlai. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded and immediately teleported away. Soon, he returned and brought Wang Xian and the rest to another continent. In the next 10 days, Wang Xian and the rest searched the continents. However, they didn't find any powerful treasures on the continents. Dragon King, there's another continent in the center. It's also the largest continent. This continent is tens of thousands of times bigger than our Dragon Island. Enlai reported to Wang Xian when they were still on the last continent. The last continent should be the main continent of the Ink Han tribe. Even if they were annihilated, they should still have some treasures there. Tianjin was shining brightly at the side. Let's go. As Wang Xian spoke, they arrived at the main continent of the ruins of the Ink Han tribe. Floating in the sky, the continent in front of them was much vaster than the other 17 continents. However, what made Wang Xian and the rest frown was that a battle seemed to have broken out on this continent. Many places were destroyed. It should be the Ink Han clan's opponent, the Skeleton clan's experts. Wang Xian murmured, Let's go. Let's do a rough check first. The treasure-seeking ants only search for treasures of the 7th Order God Emperor realm and above. He gave an order to the treasure-seeking ant and flew quickly in the void. His speed was very fast, and he only roughly scanned the continent. Of course, after flying for 10 minutes, Wang Xian's eyes narrowed and he was shocked. There's someone below. He hurriedly said. What? Could it be that the Ink Han clan has been discovered on the main continent? Impossible. If it was discovered, how could there be no traces of humans on the other continents? Tianjin's expression changed slightly. Conceal yourself, don't get discovered. Wang Xian said immediately. His body began to turn illusory as his pair of dragon eyes stared at the position below. Below, more than a dozen figures were constantly sparring with each other while displaying their formations. The aura they exuded was around the 5th Order God Emperor realm. More than 10 5th Order God Emperor realm magi? Dragon King, look at what they are wearing. They are exactly the same as the clothes we saw on the corpses. At this time, Tianjin could not help but exclaim with a shocked look on his face. Black and white clothes with the word Wu written in the center. On the chest area were the words Ink Han clan. There are still people from the Ink Han clan alive? Wang Xian squinted his eyes and was a little shocked. The Ink Han clan was a primary race in the universe, and they had been destroyed for billions of years. Now there were still people from their clan on this continent. That's highly possible. They sealed off the entire territory of their race. It's impossible that they didn't leave behind some descendants. Tianjin said in a deep voice. Let's go and check. Wang Xian said as he looked around. The unbeginning sacred wings appeared behind him, and he flew towards the group of people below. Who's there? When Wang Xian flew over, the group of people looked at him with doubt, but they did not react too much. In this sealed space, there were only their own people. However, in the next moment, they fainted before they could see who it was. Soul capture. Wang Xian walked to an old man and waved his arm. Wang. A wave of information entered Wang Xian's mind, which made him frown slightly. 10 minutes later, he opened his eyes. Dragon King, how is it? Tianjin and the rest immediately asked. The situation is a little unfavorable. The Ink Han clan left behind descendants on this continent. Currently, there are billions of them living on this continent. Wang Xian revealed a solemn look. Moreover, according to the memories I obtained, the strongest descendants of the Ink Han clan have reached the peak Emperor God realm, and there are a total of 10 of them. What? Tianjin, Enlai and the rest were shocked. 10 peak Emperor God sorcerers. This force was extremely powerful even for a domain-level race. This is bad news for us. However, there's good news. The descendants of the Inkhang clan will not be able to leave this continent for now. This continent is shrouded by chaotic arrays. Unless the Inkhang clan can produce experts of the universe supremacy level, they will be trapped here forever. Wang Xian said. Among the 18 continents, only the main continent had the descendants of the Inkhang clan. Due to the lack of resources, they had not produced any experts of the universe supremacy level. Without any experts of the universe supremacy level, they would be trapped here forever. The Inkhang clan must have left all their treasures on this continent. What a pity. Tianjun shook his head in disappointment. Even the descendants of the Inkhang clan were not something they could deal with. Let's go. Before we have the strength of a peak emperor god, let's not come into contact with the descendants of the Inkhang clan for now. Wang Xian said to Enlai. According to the information they obtained, the Inkhang clan was not a benevolent race. Before they had the strength to speak to them on equal terms, it was better not to come into contact with them. Wang Xian did not kill the dozen people from the Inkhang clan. They did not see his group, and could not leave this continent. Hence, he had nothing to worry about. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded. Since then, the Inkhang clan's ruins and Dragon Palace had been explored almost completely. However, the results did not satisfy Wang Xian. Chapter 30:11. Killing those who offend the Dragon Palace. In of the 18 continents, other than 2, Wang Xian had done a thorough check on the rest of the continents. The main continent had the tinder of the Inkhang tribe. The other continents basically had no valuable treasures. Wang Xian's plan to achieve a breakthrough was dashed. He had wanted to make use of the ruins of the Inkhang tribe to raise himself to the peak emperor god level. By then, he wouldn't have to fear anyone in this void. But now, Prime Minister Turtle, get all the members of the Dragon Palace ready. We will move the main Dragon Palace to the continent within the ruins of the Inkhang tribe. Wang Xian returned to the Dragon Palace and instructed. Dragon King, what about our side? Prime Minister Turtle pondered for a while and asked. We will continue to manage the resplendent starry sky. If anyone dares to provoke us, we will retreat to the Inkhang tribe without fear. Wang Xian said. Good. Fighting with the tribes and races in the center of the universe will also help the Dragon Palace to improve rapidly. Hehe. Prime Minister Turtle nodded with a sinister look in his eyes. Dark blazing heavenly array, go and get ready. Set up a bigger altar, and teleport the Dragon Palace over. Wang Xian immediately ordered the dark blazing heavenly array and the rest. Yes, Dragon King. The two of them nodded and went to prepare. Half an hour later, all the members of the Dragon Palace returned to the Dragon Palace. The main Dragon Palace had undergone a relocation. The humongous Dragon Palace appeared in the Divine Dragon Continent. The Divine Dragon Continent was the name given by the Dragon Palace. On this continent, 80% of the land was the ocean. The vast ocean was the perfect residence for the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, the ocean on this continent is much bigger than our Dragon Island. It's more comfortable here. The group of Dragon Palace leaders looked at the entire ocean and were satisfied. We retreated here so that we don't have to worry about anything. There are only 2 million members of the Dragon Palace, including the devouring dragons. This is considered a small number in the universe. This also makes it easier for us to act without any worries. If anyone dares to attack the Dragon Palace, we will counterattack. Wang Xian said to the members. This is interesting. Who cares about the tribes and races? As long as they provoke us, we will play with them slowly. Orochi smiled with excitement in his eyes. The good thing is that the other races don't have any ideas about us. Then we can also officially enter the center of the universe and seek development. Prime Minister Turtle replied with a smile. Alright, let's familiarize ourselves with this continent. Wang Xian chuckled. With a swift move, he brought Enlai to the other continents to build dragon palaces. Since the Dragon Palace could be teleported, it would be more convenient for the Dragon Palace members to enter the other continents in the future. Moreover, He had yet to thoroughly search the other continents. Disregarding everything else, a few thousand God Emperor-class God equipment could be found. That was a huge sum of money. Just as the Dragon Palace was moving and Wang Xian was searching for treasures around the ruins of the Emohan clan in the center of the universe, some people from the forces had already stepped into the resplendent starry sky. Many forces were curious about the three-eyed tribe and the four-armed tribe. This was especially so for those domain-level races. They were stronger and weren't afraid of the Dragon Palace. Naturally, they sent people over to investigate. During these 2 months, many people had arrived at the planet on the other side of the world. There are many people from other forces around here. If what the three-eyed tribe and four-armed tribe said is true, who wouldn't want to take a bite out of them? There's a habitable planet ahead. Let's head over. In the void of the world, 5 old men scanned their surroundings and fixed their eyes on the planet in front of them as they spoke with smiles. Let's go. The 5 of them moved and flew over immediately. These 5 people had 2 horns on their heads. They exuded a ferocious aura and had big noses. They were a domain-level race around the Emohan clan. An ordinary domain-level race would have a 9th order God Emperor realm expert guarding them, while a powerful domain-level race would have a peak God Emperor realm expert guarding them. All 5 of them were 6th order God Emperor realm experts. For them to send such experts over, one could imagine how much they valued this starry sky. Swish! The 5 of them moved quickly and soon arrived above the planet. The people on this planet are really weak. Let's go and find some people to verify the information. The 5 of them moved and landed in a luxurious manner. When the people in the manor saw the 5 of them, their faces changed. When they saw their faces, their eyes narrowed. Wang, the old man in the middle, waved his arm, and a surge of energy rushed towards the God King realm expert in the manor. His face turned pale as his body trembled slightly, and his eyes went blank. Tell us everything you know about the Dragon Palace. The 5 of them stared at him and asked indifferently, who are you people? What do you want? At this time, someone in the manor noticed the situation and immediately walked over and exclaimed, Noisy! Ants! The 5 of them didn't even look at him. With a wave of their arm, they killed him. The Dragon Palace is the ruler of our resplendent starry sky. The God King realm expert with a blank expression described the situation. Hearing his information, the 5 old men looked at each other with shock in their eyes. They waved their arms and took the artificial intelligence on him to search for information about the Dragon Palace. This is a picture of the 9 divine dragons in the Dragon Palace. They look like the legendary wind divine dragons. They looked at the pictures and were slightly shocked. The 3-eyed race and the 4-armed race weren't exaggerating at all. They are definitely sea dragons with powerful divine dragon bloodlines. Is the Dragon Palace really developing at such a terrifying speed? This is unbelievable. Inform the clan immediately. I think we can send more people here. The 5 of them said immediately. What happened here was happening in many places on this planet. The experts of the various domain-level races and races directly controlled the people on this planet, forcing them to spit out everything they knew. 99% of the people who were controlled were killed. The experts from the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty, who were stationed there, immediately learned about the situation on Ming planet and spread the news. At the location of the Dragon Palace, Feng Wuan, Guan Shuqing, and the other girls were furious when they heard the news. Currently, the world belonged to the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty, and the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty belonged to the Dragon Palace. They obviously didn't take the Dragon Palace seriously by killing people so unscrupulously. Xiaoxian. The girls flew towards the Dragon King Palace immediately. Chapter 30:12. Those who offend Dragon Palace descend. I already know some of the situation. Wang Xian said to Shuqing and Feng Wuan after hearing what they said. Sitting on the dragon throne, a cold look flashed in his eyes. Xiaoxian, then we. Guan Shuqing and the rest frowned and said, Let me handle it. Our bedazzling starry sky might be in chaos soon. Don't bother about the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty. Wang Xian said to the girls. All right then. Guan Shuqing and the rest nodded sensibly. The powerful races in the universe weren't something the Dragon Phoenix God Dynasty could handle. Tianjun and Lai, follow me to investigate. Baki Devil Sha, you guys go too. Bring some subordinates. Wang Xian ordered. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjun and the rest nodded with cold eyes. In a flash, they came to the Dragon Palace teleportation array and arrived at the Ninming planet. The Dragon Palace on the Ninming planet was destroyed previously, and Wang Xian built another one. This time, the experts from the various forces didn't enter the Dragon Palace when they arrived at the Ninming planet. They arrived at the Dragon Palace through the teleportation array. Wang Xian and the rest hid themselves and flew towards the mainland. They were fast. When they arrived at the mainland, Tianjun took out a compass. This sorcery artifact was obtained from the mainland of the Emohan family. It could check if there were any deaths in a place. Wang Xian and the rest flew over when they saw the location shown on the compass. When they entered a manor, they saw dozens of corpses on the ground. Wang Xian and the rest had a cold look on their faces. Killing wantonly in the territory of the Dragon Palace was a disregard for them. Search. Wang Xian immediately ordered the sky array. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjun nodded and activated the array. Currently, Tianjun had the strength of a 7th Order God Emperor, which was comparable to a peak expert from an ordinary tribe. Soon, the scene of dozens of corpses on the ground appeared. 2 horns on their heads. They should be from the rare ancient tribe, a domain-level tribe. The strongest expert in the tribe has the strength of a 9th Order God Emperor. Wang Xian's eyes flickered coldly when he saw the scene ahead. Lock onto them, he said immediately. Yes. Tianjun nodded and started locking on with the array. Found them. He's still on this planet. Heavenly Formation said coldly. Go. Wang Xian and the rest flew over immediately. In a mansion, 5 figures were sitting inside, resting leisurely. One could smell a faint scent of blood in the air. Obviously, the owner of this place had been killed. Courting death. Just as the 5 of them were lying there leisurely, a voice exploded in their ears. The expressions of the 5 people changed dramatically, and fear appeared in their eyes. TSK, TSK, TSK. How dare you make trouble in our Dragon Palace? Go to hell, said Yaki Devil-Sha coldly. The venom-horned dragons behind him flew towards them. How dare you? We are people from an ancient race. The 5 of them were horrified. They wanted to resist, but at this moment, a terrifying dragon might rushed into their minds. The bodies of the few of them stiffened. The 5 venom-horned dragons had directly entered their bodies, parasitizing them. The 5 of them struggled for a while before their eyes widened in shock. Slowly, the 5 of them stood up, and a black light flashed in their eyes. Dragon King, they cupped their hands and greeted respectfully. What news? Wang Xian asked immediately. Dragon King, the 5 of them have passed on our message. The ancient race will send an 8th Order God Emperor Realm expert, 5 7th Order God Emperor Realm experts, and 26th Order God Emperor Realm experts, said one of the venom-horned dragons in the middle. Is that so? Wang Xian narrowed his eyes, and a cold light flickered in them. When will they arrive? Wang Xian narrowed his eyes and asked. They will arrive here in 10 days, the venom-horned dragon reported. Very well, we will wait for them for 10 days. Wang Xian said coldly. Come, let's go somewhere, he said to Heavenly Formation. Heavenly Formation nodded and continued searching. Here. Soon, they arrived at another place, a secluded street. There were no corpses around. They should have been disposed of. Wang. Heavenly Formation waved his arm, and waves of energy enveloped the surroundings. Soon, an image appeared in front of them. A race with thin limbs and a slightly larger head appeared in their line of sight. This is the Brain Race, a domain-level race. Their strongest expert is a 9th Order God Emperor. As Heavenly Formation spoke, he immediately set up an array to lock it down. There are only 2 people in the void far away. Heavenly Formation said. Go. Wang Xian and the rest made a move, and immediately flew towards the sky above. Wang Xian's eyes shone brightly as he locked onto a star in the void. There are 2 people in the meteorite, 7th Order God Emperor realm. Wang Xian's dragon eyes looked through the meteorite and said, "Let me intimidate them and parasitize them." Wang Xian said immediately, "Yes, Dragon King." The two venom-horned dragons beside the 8-limbed dragons nodded. Wang Xian had killed a total of 12 7th Order God Emperor realm experts from the Three-Eyed Tribe and Four-Armed Tribe. The strength of these experts had all been used on the venom-horned dragon and spiked dragon. Prime Minister Turtle and the rest knew that these two dragon species would play a huge role in the upcoming matters. The venom-horned dragon and the 8-limbed devil Shah had 10 7th Order God Emperor realm experts. There were 4 spiked dragon species. Boom! Wang Xian and the rest flew over. Before the other party could react, a powerful pressure surged towards them. The pupils of the 2 7th Order God Emperor realm experts shrunk, and a look of fear appeared on their faces. Swish swish! 2 black figures charged into the meteorite. Under Wang Xian's powerful dragon might, the 2 7th Order God Emperor realm experts from the Brain Tribe could not resist and were parasitized. Boom! Soon 2 figures charged out. Dragon King, the 2 experts from the Brain Tribe who were parasitized greeted Wang Xian respectfully. Dragon King, the Brain Tribe will send 2 8th Order God Emperor realm experts. As for the other experts, we did not receive any news. They will arrive in about 13 days. They reported immediately. 2. Wang Xian frowned slightly and nodded his head. 2 8th Order God Emperor realm experts. If he could kill one of them by surprise, the other one could be killed quickly. It was not a big problem. Let's continue. I want to see who is the hunter and who is the prey in the upcoming battle, Wang Xian said to Tianjun and the rest. His eyes were filled with violent killing intent. Those who covet the Dragon Palace and offend it must die. Chapter 30:13. Slaughter a Path of Blood. The hero's 1-inch Dragon King. This was done by an 8th Order God Emperor realm expert, and a shaman at that. He erased all traces here. Somewhere on 9 Destruction Planet, Heaven Formation looked ahead and frowned. After dealing with the 2 experts from the Brain Race, they continued searching for traces. This time they received even worse news. An 8th Order God Emperor realm shaman had come to investigate. A race that could casually send out an 8th Order God Emperor realm expert should be considered one of the stronger domain-level forces. Let's continue. As they continued searching, Tianjun found the people who entered the 9 Destruction Planet one by one. All of them had captured a citizen of the 9 Destruction Planet and threatened them. After that, none of them survived. In 3 hours, Wang Xian and the rest had found more than a dozen races. A few races dare to be arrogant in our Dragon Palace. Wang Xian's eyes flashed coldly. Dragon King, this is what we have found. There is still some information that we haven't found. Tianjun's eyes flickered. This was only the ones who entered the 9 Destruction Planet. Who knew how many more people did not enter? Roughly estimating, there were at least 20 experts who came to the resplendent starry sky. 13 of them were parasitized by the venom-horned dragon. Since they want to attack us and covet us, then we don't have to worry. Anli, immediately search for the Evil Wind race, Life Spirit race, and Thousand Hands race on the Universe AI, and head towards their nests. A few small races dare to covet our Dragon Palace. Wang Xian said with a murderous look. Yes, Dragon King. And Lai immediately nodded. Since they want to kill us, let's slaughter a path of blood first. Just in time, slaughter a path of blood. Wang Xian's eyes flashed. Using the fresh blood of the races in the center of the cosmos to increase the Dragon Palace's strength. And Lai immediately searched. It was easy to search the nests of some races. And Lai's figure disappeared after finding a star map. And Lai's speed was a few hundred times the speed of light. It was not an exaggeration. And Lai's second was equivalent to a light year. With the star map, he could reach the nests of those races in less than half an hour. With such great mobility, he could visit all the races in the center of the cosmos in a day. Dragon King. After more than an hour, Enlai appeared before Wang Xian. I have investigated the Evil Wind tribe. Dark Ardent respectfully reported. Oh, did the Evil Wind race finish their investigation? Return to the Dragon Palace and bring roving demon and the rest. Prepare to hunt. Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and said to Enlai, "It's Dragon King." Enlai grinned. His figure flashed and disappeared in an instant. Back in the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian brought along roving demon and the other 20 strongest spiky dragons. Then they appeared in the sky above a planet. Dragon King, this is one of the main planets of the Evil Wind clan. According to the information I received, there are a few grotto heavens of the Evil Wind clan below. Enlai immediately reported, "Heavenly Array, check the strongest combat power on this planet." Wang Xian immediately instructed the Sky Array. "It's Dragon King." Tianjin nodded. He took out a compass and scanned the area in front of him. 1/8th Order God Emperor Realm Expert. Tianjin immediately said, "Let's go, let's start hunting." Sky Formation, send the location to Roving Demon and the others. "We will assassinate them," Wang Xian said coldly. Tianjin nodded. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Wang Xian and the rest of the spiky dragons flew towards the planet below. Their speed was fast. This time, all of them were the strongest elites of the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian flew straight towards the center of the planet. Enlai, find out the exact location of the 8th Order God Emperor. Wang Xian instructed Enlai. "Yes, Dragon King. The 8th Order God Emperor will be able to sense my presence the moment I appear." Enlai said, "It's all right. It's fine to lure him out. I'll launch a killing blow instantly." Wang Xian said, "Yes." Enlai nodded. Both of them landed on a corner of the planet. The 8th Order God Emperor was residing in a grotto heavens that was surrounded by mountains and rivers. They were within 100 kilometers of the place. Wang Xian looked at Enlai. Enlai nodded and disappeared in an instant. "Who's there?" Soon an incomparably cold voice sounded, following which a powerful aura came from a cave. A 10-meter-tall figure shrouded in a hurricane flew out. He stared at Enlai with a murderous look. Wang Xian was at the back. This is the moment. Wang Xian's eyes flashed with cold killing intent when he saw the 8th Order God Emperor. The unbeginning sacred wings appeared behind him in an instant. His dragon eyes locked onto the 8th Order God Emperor. Hualala chains appeared out of thin air, binding the demonic wind tribe's 8th Order God Emperor Realm Expert. Die! Wang Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. The 5 elements dragon claws struck towards him. What? The evil wind tribe expert who was suddenly attacked felt the changes in his surroundings. His expression changed drastically. He quickly turned around. The wind-attributed evil wind tribe expert was fast. But in front of the unbeginning sacred wings, he paled in comparison. PFFF. The 5 elements dragon claws pierced through his body. Grayish death energy enveloped him. Cough 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 cough. Who are you? The evil wind tribe expert widened his eyes and turned around. His body trembled as he asked in a low voice. Dragon Palace, Dragon King. Wang Xian replied emotionlessly without the slightest feeling. Boom! With a wave of his dragon claws, the evil wind tribe expert's life force was absorbed into the mother nest. Deputy Patriarch! Deputy Patriarch! At this time, exclamations sounded. More than a dozen evil wind tribe experts flew over after sensing the commotion. 2 of them were 7th Order God Emperor Realm experts, while the rest were 6th Order God Emperor Realm experts. Boom boom boom. But before they could react, Wang Xian flew over and killed them in an instant. They didn't even have the strength to resist. They were killed without knowing what happened. The vast universe was just that cruel. After killing the experts of the Yaoing Wind tribe in an instant, the situation did not cause any commotion. Wang Xian waved his arm and left the words Dragon Palace on the ground. Dragon King is mighty. Dragon King is invincible. Enlai teleported over and flattered Wang Xian. Let's wait for a while. Roving Demon and the rest should be finished soon. Wang Xian chuckled. Hee Dragon King, I'll make a move too. Leave those below the 5th Order God Emperor realm to me. Enlai chuckled. He took out an array compass and disappeared in an instant. Enlai's assassination skills were more terrifying than the spiked dragon. With his current 3rd Order God Emperor realm strength, he could kill a 4th Order God Emperor realm expert in an instant. Moreover, 4th Order God Emperor Realm experts wouldn't be able to react, much less 5th Order God Emperor Realm experts. But this was already terrifying enough. Chapter 30:14. Slaughter a Path of Blood. Of the heroes 2 and 8th Order God Emperor Realm expert was killed. There was no need for Wuxia to do anything else. Given roving and the rest's strength, they could easily assassinate a 7th Order God Emperor Realm expert. There were over 1,000 God Emperors on this planet, and it was one of the core planets of the Evil Wind tribe. However, the 1,000 God Emperors disappeared rapidly under the attack of Enlai and Roving Demon. Dragon King, it's done. Roving Demon and Enlai, and the rest returned 20 minutes later. Haha, I alone killed over 700 of them. Enlai said excitedly. Dragon King, I've erased all traces they left behind. Tianjin flew over and said with a smile. Enlai, let's go to the next location. Wuxia narrowed his eyes and continued. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded his head and disappeared. Wuxia and the rest flew into the void, waiting for Enlai's news. Boom boom boom. However, in less than 10 minutes, on the planet of the Evil Wind clan, an imposing aura rose into the sky. Many creatures of the Evil Wind race that were more than 10 meters tall and looked like cyan wind demons flew over through the teleportation formation. When they arrived at their deputy patriarch's blessed land, their faces were filled with fear and embarrassment. Patriarch, the deputy patriarch's vitality disappeared here. The battle also happened here. The deputy patriarch should have been killed in one move. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been killed so silently. The Evil Wind tribe did not belong to the human race. Their bodies were green, and they were 10 meters tall. Their arms were connected to a wing, and their heads were slightly protruding. One of the experts from the Yaowing Wind clan had a gloomy look on his face as he roared with fear in his eyes. To be able to kill an 8th Order God Emperor in an instant meant that the other party could kill them too. An 8th Order God Emperor was one of the strongest experts in their tribe. In the center, the leader of the Evil Wind tribe, who was about 11 to 12 meters tall, looked around with fear. When he saw the words on the ground not far away, his eyes narrowed. Boom! In a flash, he appeared in front of the words. Dragon Palace! He roared when he saw the words on the ground. Dragon Palace? Is it that Dragon Palace? The Dragon Palace in the starry space is theirs? Damn. When the people behind him saw these two words, they instantly thought of the forces that were receiving the most attention in this space. The power in the space within the ruins of the Inkhan dynasty, the Dragon Palace. Why are they attacking us? Could it be that they already know that our people have entered their territory? Now you want revenge? Even if they know the speed of their revenge is too fast. Our people have just arrived in that starry sky and have just sent the message. This Dragon Palace is obviously trying to intimidate us. However, their strength is really terrifying. They actually killed so many of our experts in such a short time. Even the deputy team leader. I think we'd better not provoke such a powerful force. The group of experts from the Evil Wind clan had ugly expressions on their faces. At the same time, they were a little frightened. Such strength was no weaker than theirs. In fact, it might even be stronger than theirs. It was clearly unwise to provoke such an opponent. Inform the elders who have gone to that part of the starry sky to come back. This isn't something we can get involved in. The clan leader of the Evil Wind tribe said with an ugly expression. The vice clan head had been assassinated without a sound or a trace, and it had not caused any commotion. One could well imagine the strength of the other party. Moreover, thousands of God Emperors on the entire planet had died. Such terrifying strength made him shudder. If they were to really fight, the Evil Wind tribe might not be a match for them. Yes, clan leader. The experts from the Evil Wind tribe nodded their heads solemnly. Dragon King, the Living Soul tribe has locked onto them. Let's go and get them. In the void above, Enlai appeared beside Wuxia and the rest. He grinned widely and spoke with a smile. Let's go. Wuxia smiled and nodded his head. They moved and disappeared in an instant. The Living Soul tribe was a tribe of sorcerers. The strongest expert also had the strength of an 8th Order God Emperor. Moreover, The overall strength of the Living Soul tribe was much stronger than the Evil Wind tribe. The combat strength of the sorcerers was generally stronger than the other tribes. However, other than the sorcerers who focused on cultivating their physical bodies, the array sorcerers and curse sorcerers had extremely weak physical bodies. Once they got close to them, even if they were a level lower, they could still kill them. For example, Enlai could only kill 4th Order God Emperor Realm experts. However, he could kill 5th Order God Emperor Realm magicians. Dragon King. The sorcerers are very vigilant. They will set up arrays at their residences. You must be careful, roving demon. Somewhere on the Living Soul tribe's main planet, the heavenly array reminded. Don't worry, we can perform an instant illusion. As long as they are within 1,000 kilometers, we can definitely kill them. Roving demon said confidently. Surprisingly, with their assassination techniques, it was not difficult for them to assassinate sorcerers of the same level. Be careful, they still have sorcery weapons. I'll make the first move. The commotion here will definitely attract the attention of the experts on the entire planet. Wait for an opportunity to assassinate them. Wang Xian said to them. Yes, Dragon King. Roving demon and the rest nodded their heads. Heavenly Array, help me lock onto the location of that sorcerer. Enlai, come and pinpoint the exact location of that 8th Order God Emperor sorcerer. Wang Xian said to them. An 8th Order God Emperor sorcerer's array formation was stronger than the Heavenly Array. The Heavenly Array could only sense the location that was threatening to him. That would definitely be the location of the 8th Order God Emperor sorcerer. As for the Heavenly Array, it could quickly lock onto the exact location of that sorcerer. If the Yamada no Demon Shah and the rest of the Venom Horn dragons came over and slowly infiltrated, it would be safer. However, Wang Xian felt that it was unnecessary to deal with these races. Attack with brute force. Heavenly Array and Lai nodded his head and immediately went to investigate. The assassination this time was much more troublesome than the previous one. Half an hour later, Heavenly Array and Lai and the rest locked onto a location. Dragon King, there's a powerful array in the domain ahead. There should be an 8th Order God Emperor Realm expert inside. Heavenly Array said as he looked at Enlai. I'll go and investigate. Enlai nodded his head. Hide in the surroundings and be ready to strike. Roving Demon ordered his subordinates. The Spinulosa dragons nodded their heads. Enlai moved and entered the domain instantly. The array formation was useless against him. Rumble. Who dares to barge into my holy message domain? Soon, the void ahead was filled with lightning, and the entire domain was covered in lightning. A cold roar reverberated across the entire planet. An old man holding a lightning rod floated in the center of the lightning, scanning his surroundings. He's out. Wang Xian squinted his eyes as a chilly light flashed in his eyes. Dragon King, be careful. An 8th Order God Emperor Realm sorcerer can fight against those of a higher realm. Don't engage in a prolonged battle. Heavenly Array reminded. Chapter 30:15. Carving a bloody path and terrorizing the crowd. 3 Rumble Rumble Rumble. Wang Xian naturally knew how terrifying an 8th Order God Emperor Realm sorcerer was. Once he couldn't get close, he wouldn't be able to do anything to his opponent no matter how fast he was. Once he got close, it would be much easier for Wang Xian to kill his opponent. The unbeginning saint wings flapped, and Wang Xian pushed his speed to the limit. A pair of dragon horns gradually appeared on his head. He stared at the old man with a violent aura in his eyes. He flapped his wings and charged forward at a terrifying speed. His arms turned into dragon claws as he charged forward. Ha! When Wang Xian charged over, the old man with the lightning scepter immediately noticed him. The old man's eyes narrowed. He pointed the lightning scepter in his hand towards Wang Xian. Crackle! In an instant, an extremely horrifying thunderbolt struck towards Wang Xian. Boom! The lightning bolt was so fast that Wang Xian's expression changed. His figure moved, directly dodging the lightning attack, directly rushing into the dense lightning in front of him. Such terrifying speed. The old man with the lightning scepter was shocked. He waved his arm, and a lightning decree appeared in front of him. The lightning decree was covered in dense lightning bolts, and a terrifying lightning beast quickly condensed on its surface. The thunder beast galloped and charged towards Wang Xian. "Who is it? How dare you attack me?" The old man with the lightning scepter roared. Such powerful strength. Wang Xian's expression changed when he saw his attack. He was indeed an 8th Order God Emperor realm sorcerer. However, the lightning beast was still slower than him. With a swift movement, he dodged the thunder beast and continued to attack the old man. Damn it, such terrifying speed. The old man with the lightning scepter panicked when he saw Wang Xian's speed. The lightning decree in front of him released dense lightning bolts towards Wang Xian. 5 elements Dragon Claw. Wang Xian didn't hesitate as he executed his mystique. The grayish dragon claw swung towards his surroundings. The lightning bolts were split apart, and the distance between him and the old man was getting closer. Rumbling thunder. The old man with the lightning scepter was shocked as he landed his scepter on the lightning decree. Boom! Lightning filled the sky, and a terrifying power of lightning surrounded the old man. Then it spread out in all directions. Not good. When Wang Xian saw the old man's ranged attack, his expression changed slightly. The old man's lightning beast attack could definitely threaten a 9th Order God Emperor realm expert. Even if this attack wasn't as terrifying as the lightning beast's attack, it was still slightly weaker. Charge. As long as we can block it, we can destroy it. The yin-yang dragon coiled around Wang Xian and protected him tightly. Ka-ka. However, the yin-yang dragon board was unable to withstand such an attack. Cracks began to appear on its surface as it slowly collapsed. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes. The strength of this old man was a little terrifying. Secondly, the old man had the geographical advantage. Even if he suddenly launched a sneak attack and was not far away from him, the formation that he had set up in advance could be activated instantly. Crackle! Incomparably powerful thunderbolts bombarded his body. This caused his expression to change again. A powerful bolt of lightning landed on his body, causing him to freeze. But suddenly, the left wing of the unbeginning saint wings behind him trembled slightly. Some of the lightning fell on it, and was slowly absorbed. The feeling of numbness disappeared instantly. Wang Xian was overjoyed. This was an opportunity. Die! His eyes emitted a terrifying murderous aura as he sped up. What? Seeing that the lightning had no effect on Wang Xian, the old man of the living spirit tribe was shocked, and his expression changed completely. He immediately retreated in fear. But how could his speed compare to Wang Xian? The grayish death dragon claw grabbed the old man in an instant. Layers of powerful defensive barriers lit up on his body. Break! At such a close distance, Wang Xian's death dragon claw exploded with terrifying physical strength and the power of the 5 elements. Dragon eyes locking 8 desolations. At the same time, chains shot out from his eyes and pierced through the old man. Bam bam bam. The defensive sorcery equipment on his body crumbled rapidly. Who are you? What feud do I have with you? The living spirit tribe old man roared in fear. What feud? I'm the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. What feud do you have with me? You covet our Dragon Palace. Die! The chains of dragon eyes locking 8 desolations wrapped around his body. Wang Xian clawed hard with his death dragon claw, and a destructive force rushed into the old man's body. Dragon Palace. His eyes widened. As a top-notch expert of the living spirit tribe, he naturally knew about the Dragon Palace. In fact, he was the one who initiated the operation of the living spirit tribe. As a sorcerer, he was confident that he could take a bite out of the Dragon Palace. In fact, he was pleasantly surprised by the information he received about the Dragon Palace. But he did not expect the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace to attack them now. How could it be possible with such a fast speed? Bam! A powerful force landed on him and drained his vitality. From the moment Wang Xian attacked to the moment it ended, only 10 seconds had passed. What's happening? Oh no, someone is causing trouble in our living spirit tribe. It's the Great Supreme Elder. Hurry, let's go over. The terrifying aura from the battle on Wang Xian's side swept across the entire planet. All the people on the planet sensed the terrifying aura coming from here, and they all had shocked expressions on their faces. The experts of the living spirit tribe had a slight change in their expressions as they flew over. Everything happened in a mere 10 seconds. Attack! Roving Demon and the rest, who had been lying in ambush, saw the living spirit tribe sorcerers flying over. Their eyes were filled with coldness. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. In the next moment they moved. Ah! The living spirit tribe's experts were unable to react in time, and their bodies were pierced by the sharp claws. Under such circumstances, they were just sorcerers waiting to be slaughtered in front of the spiky dragon. Not good, there's an ambush. Horrified voices came from the living spirit tribe's experts who rushed over. Their expressions changed when they saw 8 of their experts being assassinated. Die haha! And Lai laughed heartily. He locked onto those 5th Order God Emperor Realm sorcerers and disappeared instantly. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. In an instant his dagger sliced through over 30 heads. Kill! Wang Xian rushed out and flapped his unbeginning sacred wings. He attacked the surrounding 7th Order God Emperor Realm sorcerers at a terrifying speed. The massacre had begun. Who are you? How dare you attack our living spirit tribe? SSS, not good. Our living spirit tribe's experts have been killed. Which tribe's expert is it? Around them, the people of the Living Souls clan looked over in shock. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.